It's good to have you here, and our features are Scott Ferry and Hayden Saunier, and I'm really looking forward to their reading. Have been for some time, and we have uh, a nice varied group on the open mic, and I'm sure it's going to be terrific. So why don't we get started? Our first reader is going to be Scott Ferry. His bio is short and sweet. Scott helps our veterans heal as an RN in the Seattle area. He has two books upcoming in 2026: Blood on the Map of Man from Luchador Press and Inheritance of Air with Akriti Kuntal from Meat for Tea Press. More can be found at his website at fairypoetry.com, and I'll try to put that into the chat while he is reading. So take it away, Scott.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Um, I'm going to start with Blood on the Map of Man. And this is my daughter did the cover to this, just an amazing painting she has. So I'm very lucky that she's a amazing visual artist. But this is basically a book that I wrote last April. I don't know what it's called, Mo Pro, whatever it's called, where you write a poem a day. I did that. And so um, I did the same thing this year, and I'm going to read a little bit for what I did this year. But let's start off with number 4 here. The apple blossoms are the same color white as the grubs which are destroying my lawn. I take a photo of the diaphanous white flesh of the flower against the blue blood of the sky. I furiously claw out the decaying earth and uncover each curled alabaster larvae. I ask my son to get gloves on to help me throw each transparent insect into the bin. He says that he can see their eyes. He says he can see their hearts in blue blood. Each grub would have grown into a flying thing. My son handles them gently as he discards them. There is nothing as white as death, nothing as bloody as birth. I share the image of wings in the light. I bury the blind in the dark. No, none of these have titles. They're just numbered. It's basically one long poem. Okay. 11. My daughter weeps to my wife, says that she feels trapped in a human body, that she is supposed to be moon or a star, that she doesn't belong here. I ask her later, and she says the hate and the negativity are just too much. She doesn't see the point of all the pain and suffering. I explain I've always felt this way, and that many, many, many people do. Some try to escape it by killing themselves. Some find the fun and pleasure in this world. So why not? I say, eat your favorite foods, listen to your favorite music. I explain it really helped me to find a way to help. I say, find out why you are here. I know that my writing is what I can give back. I say to to her, your art and poetry are natural to you. Maybe that is the way you help this world. I feel her settle and say, so this life is just all a simulation, like a field trip? I don't know for sure, but I think so, I answer. But you are here now, so you might as well find your joy here. And your people, my daughter. There are plenty of us in exile, sharing sparks in the darkness. 13. I helped my son refold a paper airplane to make the lines straighter and add a paper clip to the back because it keeps diving. When we go to the playground, he throws it over 100 times from the top of the slide, from the edge of the web structure, from a sunny hill. And most times it doesn't go very far, barrels into the ground, smashing the cockpit. So he spends some time uncrushing it before he throws it again. He finds joy in any amount of flight, even a rapid boomerang back to his feet. I think this kid will do okay here on this planet. reshaping his psyche after 100 falls, running back up the hill like he has never been hurt. 14. I have always been seeking something I have lost, a place of light without pain. If I take apart each of my molecules, it is there, the burn and hum of God's wet fabric. When I grasp it, it sheds its skin. When I name it, it makes all words hiss as the tide retreats. If I listen, it rolls like a warm static under my lids. If I go towards it, if I go towards it, I go farther in or farther under. I speak to it like a bodiless voice in a hall. It doesn't make anything easier, really. I will still have this mask and script and theater full of physics. But I wish on what is everything within everything to at least heal what can be healed, share it with my wife and children, eat it in the April sun. An asterisk on the wide water, a bird throat in the sky. This is me when I was 26, having a hard time. 15. I'm 26, my words break and fall. Can't speak to humans, hold my body together with insomnia. Shake on my mother's couch, my first career, a slow failure. Ask God or a future version of myself for help. I listen, cold dial tone, a vague ache. You will eventually know, something says. And when I look back, I know not to reach across time to comfort myself. This is the 40 days in the desert, Gilgamesh's 12 days of darkness, the whale's acidic stomach. There are reasons to slaughter yourself and weep, which are not known to those who slaughter themselves and weep. I have emerged at 55, and oh, have I emerged at 55? I have some ash written on ash I can show you. I can sing a clear song in the night. Oh man, I hope I don't cry. Okay, 16. I tell my son we need to get out of the pool, but of course he wants to stay. As I crawl along the shallow water to the exit, I feel his tiny but strong hand grip my ankle, and I let him begin to move my large body backwards as I see time flash through the blur. As if I'm getting younger, the deeper he pulls me. After he has transported me all the way back to the barrier between earth and ether, I stand up and look surprised. I am 5 again with him. A brother or a grinning father, it's impossible to tell. And we dart and splash and dive in the eternal light. And when it's time for me to go, hopefully many years from now, I will tell him I must go alone, and he will not be able to pull me back. But share this with your children, son. Be young with them in this grand sparkling pool for the time you have, which is forever. Yeah, I didn't cry. Okay. Right. I'm looking for one. It, 21, I believe. There it is. 25. Okay, sorry. There it is. Physicists say that everything is happening now, as if all the dramas and blood are starflakes made from a chimpanzee typing Hamlet in a roomless room. I am sometimes the primate clicking keys, sometimes Hamlet poor Yorking, sometimes Ophelia translating the river, sometimes Polonius knife through the veil, and always the ghost of them all, ruing in the wings. It's hard to know how to spell ruing. Anyway, all right. Maybe one more out of this book, and then I'll do to my new stuff. I haven't written about my heart, my real heart as it hides, a reflection of a gray-white wing. Of all the places I have been hurt, and the glass has been set sky against sea. I weep sometimes that I cannot be all I want to be for God, or for my children, or for my wife, for all of you. There are many ashen gates around me, The April rain falls but never touches me. I have written what I can. Share my script, a seagull on a cold mirror. The Hanzi for ocean has 9 lines. My heart has 4 holes, bathed in silver halides. What is exposed to light is burned. In the skin, a simple curl of a snake, a tendon, a finger held in the dark as the wash of sleep pours in. All right, so this newer stuff, I just was diagnosed with ADHD. I didn't know why I had anxiety my whole life, and now it kind of makes a lot of sense. And I got a new medication, and it's fabulous. Um, this was written this April. I decided to call it Fog Gondola. Lillian Netchikoff helped me with the title. Anyway, let's go. 5. The eyes in the mirror are too unburdened to be mine. Seabirds drift through holes in the television. My body is carried by the ocean. The current breaks the remaining glass. The police leave their cars on the freeway and speak to the flowers. My wife's eyes are warm chocolate as they have always been. The wind comes through me like holy radio waves. This man looking at me is a wraith of new marigolds. He has a voice of uncut grass. The demons in him are playing Marco Polo in a muffled pool. I will need to take new pictures. The terrors of the old world no longer inside any of my exposures. 6. I look into my wife's eyes so long, she asks if I'm okay. Yes. She is beautiful without my weather getting in the way, without self compartmentalizing recipes and fear-fingered safety plans. Just a clear sky, a soul full of soft feathers, her open eyes morning light on sea. Yes, I am okay, more than I've ever shown you. This is the hidden man, under the weight of granite and pressure of water. And here I am, now looking at you with no idea what to say. Not many things in my mind. Oh, this is number 10. Not many things in my mind are a yes or a no. A road with two endings and devoid of jazz. I conjure fuchsia clouds and salamanders, crowbeaks and lemon wrecks, obsidian portraits into night waves, dusk prairie periwinkle, the sound of green as the sun ruptures, tickling bristles of black caterpillars, the smell of refracted afternoon in the deep end, the math of rainworms on the sidewalk. Addition doesn't work in a blizzard. Sexting on train tracks won't help. The answer is never one minnow. God is never an even number. Fleas and mosquitoes are too full. The burnt valleys need angels. I answer God, yes, yes, I think, but honestly, no. 13. My daughter and I talk about all the different people inside of us, how the watcher usually isn't the one in control, but is perched on a chair at the side of the pool with a black coffee and a fake cigarette, dressed elegantly in mist and holding a pistol. We didn't talk about that part, but it's still valid. As the ego and the false selves thrash about in the water, and the scared child cowers on the steps, the watcher sips, smokes, shoots a hand that grips too close, the deck too close, giggles a bit, writes notes that are really insincere confessions, pisses in the bushes at intervals. Can't she come and help us? My daughter asks. At which point the watcher and her heads fall off their chairs in laughter, dust off the gunpowder and ash, refill the barrel. Sorry, that one's a little dark. All right, 18. At least mowing the lawn is something I cannot fail at. It has precise boundaries and a definable end. The thing I push her through space has an invisible blade. There are holes and craters which I can just pretend aren't there. At least I am finished. At last I am finished, but then bring my son out to help me weed. This is harder because of deeper roots. I show him how to work out each deep tongue with his new blade. But he inherits too many. Each word or anger I show him growing. He just pulls off the tops of the letters. And in my haste, I teach him that that will have to do for now. That all of the curses of our lineage cannot be unspoken in one day, even with steel and muscle, even with the Father's praise. 19. Sometimes I listen to wait for the deepest part of me to respond. Most of the time, the answer is predictable. You will know in time, and it is not time yet. I want to say thanks a lot. That sure helps. Then I have the urge to say, you are the motherfucker who signed up for this Earth lifetime. Don't you know anything? You owe me. And then the answer is even worse. That would be cheating. I have learned to keep breathing without solutions or plans. I have learned to trust an inner knowingness without the knowingness. I guess the beauty does enough for me. The surprise of golden poppies along the road, the color between waking and tangerine, the sun syrups into the Puget Sound, the resonance of birds refilling the morning with the citrine jubilation, the cool duel of the grass on my ankles. Any day I can take a photograph, write a poem, comfort another traveler, and make myself believe I am more than a ghost talking to itself. That's the real trip, right?
Yeah, I think we're kind of out of time for your reading here.
All right, no problem.
Yeah,
Thank you, everybody.
thank you. It's always wonderful to hear your new work, and you always have new work.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, so our next feature is Hayden Saunier, and she's the author of 6 poetry collections, including her most recent, Wheel. Her work has been awarded a Pushcart Prize, a Pablo Neruda Prize, the Rattle Poetry Prize, and published widely in journals such as 32 Poems, Shenandoah Thrush, Southern Poetry Review, The Sun, and Virginia Quarterly Review, as well as featured on Poetry Daily, Writer's Almanac, and Verse Daily. Hayden is the founder and director of No River Twice, an audience-driven interactive poetry performance group that offers readings and performances that are never the same twice. More at her website, which I will put on the chat for you to check out for yourself. So take it away, Hayden.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And whoa, thank you, Scott, for that beautiful reading and those beautiful new poems. Wow. And thank you, Robbi, and thank you all for being here. It's so nice to have this time to read some poems. I guess we've talked about this for over a year or so. I'm going to read mostly from this book, Wheel, and then some new work, but I'm also going to try to read short because we have a lot of people I want to hear. The book Wheel kind of gathers itself around the the secular nature of the world. I live on a farm, so I'm keenly aware of that, and interposed with a lot about humans in the world. So I'm just going to read the first Wheel. There are a series of poems called Wheel that kind of pick up on each other. I'm just going to read the first one, called Wheel. There is a how to it, but not a why. We know enough to know that much, not more. The way tree roots upturned or birds flown into sky, as if the point is to become what we are not. We know enough to know that much, not more. In early spring, our footsteps green the path, as if the point is to become ourselves, and then in time, become an otherness in early spring. Our footsteps green the path we walk together through tall woods, which is an otherness we will become in time, while everything around us turns and turns. We walk together through tall woods in every season as one rolls into the next, while trees and birds around us turn and green the path we will become in time. The point is to become what we are not. Birds slowly sail through earth, tree roots learn sky. We know enough to know that much, not more. There is a how to it, but not a why. So there are a number of poems that pick up that idea. But I also wanted to read this poem, and actually I loved your poem, Scott, with the Watcher in it, because this poem was kind of came with the idea that we have, especially as children, obviously not Scott's fabulous children, but that we are a single consciousness, as opposed that we don't change. The world around us is changing, but somehow we seem to think we're in some fixed point at some time. So this speaks to that. Some nights I step through different doors, onto different stone stoops and back porches, pausing to wave to myself as I clack slowly by on a train passing into the outskirts of cities or small towns, through blank squares of blacktop or freshly turned fields. And the self that is moving waves back to the selves that are stepping down into deep snowdrifts or dead grass or over discarded crack vials or into a tiny tilled spice garden, vivid with marigold, parsley, and mint. The doors lead me back through the rooms I once slept in. Beds narrow or wide, windows open to ocean or air shaft, 2 rooms on 2 sides of a high bridge, and one with an ornate and worn-out unraveling carpet of intertwined ivy and swans, where I told myself lie after lie. I was here, and then here, and then here, says the click of the rails, and I'm here, riding past me, again and again, as though I'm a singular self, not a blur, not a story that changes when memory ticks by like a train in the night, pulling passenger car after car with their flickering lights and their shifts of perspective, a face like my own in each dark window frame. And I'm going to read a couple of new poems and then one more from Wheel. I have cats and dogs. I love them both. They teach me different things. News from the neighborhood. The sad grass plots in front of every house go dormant in late summer, but this year all seems flat out dead. Swaths of dried brown patches burned by heat and lack, and the spicy urine of drunk boys stumbling past on late nights, stuffed with bucket beer and hot wings dipped in pools of hell's half-acre. Root structures tangle. The block's a mix of old and new, but you never know what will return. After all, my cat came back. He was locked up for 6 months down the street by a woman in a house with all white furniture, white carpets, and bleached gravel for a lawn. She wouldn't let him go. Turns out you can't steal a dog in this town, but you can commandeer a cat. There are no laws, no rules for cats, because a cat knows how to read a room. So when my cat escaped again and crazy cat thief tried to lure him back with canned salmon and an open door, he dragged a bleeding baby bunny through her all-white house, and just like magic, he was mine again. I hear that the grasses speak a language underground, share warnings with the shrubs and street trees, though no translations needed for the lines they've scrawled about us in the hard, dry soil. I whisper to them, sleep, sleep and wait for better times. Then choose your moment like a cat. The spring will come. Another new one. Something is not right. If any of you remember the Madeline books, that's a quote from the Madeline books. Something is not right. My neighbors never turn off the light in an upstairs room. So one eye seems always open in the face of that house, which is how ducks sleep and dolphins and wary parents of teenagers like my sister, who woke one night as certain of catastrophe as the French nurse in a children's book. So she drove in her robe and nightgown to the house where her daughter was sleeping over, in time to watch 4 girls crawl out a bedroom window, drop to the ground, and head toward town. She stepped from her car, called their names in the ragged, whispered voice of conscience, watched them scramble back inside the house. That's the God we were taught we had. God of highway guardrails and get your butt back in that house. God of adults not too drunk or damaged to keep us safe. A clear-eyed God unmoved by megachurch money and gold filigree. God as shepherd, like my sister, standing under bright stars in a dark world, nightgown hitched up in a robe sash, boots on, ready to chase the young ones back to the fold, away from the wolves, at least for that night. And then I think I will just finish with another poem from Wheel that I really love to read now. Called Self-Portrait as 3 Cubic Feet of Compost. That's 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet, and will require a small truck to move, meaning I won't have that light and airy feel of ash, nor will I lift and vanish like a cloud ascending, holy, 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 when cast to the winds. I'll have heft. The brochure describes a layering of wood chips, alfalfa, straw, and me in a careful blend of nitrogen and carbon nestled inside a steel cylinder. Then, 6 weeks later, voila, topsoil. Upside, no carbon footprint, no chemicals, no hot burn, because we've had enough of fires, haven't we? Downside, you can't just leave me in a drawer or on a closet shelf or sell me in my porcelain urn at a yard sale by mistake. I'll be work. You'll have to shovel me. So I suggest you simply dump me on the bigger compost heap and turn me for a season. Then pay me out in spring to flower beds, red raspberries. Oh, to be threaded through with root, crisscrossed by traceries of vole and worm and grub. And what frisson thrills 1,000 diamond points of frost and freeze may bring. By then, I'll be completely us, it, them, and we. We'll germinate, get rinsed away. We'll cling to a snowy egret's awkward yellow feet, fly, plummet, land, and settle back into the suck of black-gray mud. We'll collapse in cool, dark corridors. We'll send up spiky stalks of pink-streaked lotus buds enclosing hearts made strange with chartreuse fruit and golden fringe. There will be no end to us. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Wow. I couldn't convince you to read a couple more. I can't hear you because you're muted.
No, we have so many people here
All right. But a lot of them came here to hear you and Scott. Anyway, read one more, and that's our compromise.
Oh golly, I don't know. Well, I don't want to end on a downer at all. Let me see. Yeah. Well, here's an upper and a downer. How about that? Or a downer and an upper. Another one from Wheel, Human Interest Story. That last bit of the newscast, a tiny Tinkerbell-sized light lifted from the dank bottom of the jam-packed Pandora's box of horrors just unleashed at us, with shrieking Chiron banners and pop-up advertisements for which heinous true crime story or FBI procedural is coming up. But for 30 seconds, we see puppies rescued from a storm drain, a wedding ring returned to a recent widow after it was lost for 50 years in a Nebraska cornfield, and yesterday, a man with one arm paralyzed was offered a simple loop to bind his dead arm to his working one in such a way that he could now raise both arms above his head in a ballerina's O, lift them over his young son's body to hug him back. And I can't stop seeing the look on their faces, lit so brightly from within. It's hauled me through this whole next day on hope.
Just gorgeous, gorgeous reading. Thank you so much for those poems, both of you. What a wonderful double feature. Each of you wonderful in your own way. Thanks so much. And now on to a varied bouquet of poetry from our open mic. Please read a short poem because there are a lot of you. So we'll start with Rose.
I'm leading the pack again.
Yes.
I was going to read a different poem, but because there are so many of us, and because you said read a short one, which makes perfect sense, I'm reading a short one. And it's from the book that is coming out in a few months' time called My Father's Sky. I had today the cover reveal, and I'm kind of like a little kid at Christmas. Anyway, this one is called September. It was about my first marriage, when I looked back. Years wrapped into a handkerchief of forgetting. Lover, husband, friend, father of my children. An enigma forged by your father and those who came before you. I looked at you in the embers of our promises. Misread needs you didn't understand. Mislabeled instances of extreme sadness. How could I not recognize gentleness when you reached out time and again, shy as a mimosa? Try to remember the kind of September when life was slow and oh so mellow. They were singing our song, my tender friend, and only now I realize that behind the wall you built from cynicism and laughter were tears I failed to dry.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. And I've heard a lot of poems about that relationship. That's a Good addition. Thanks so much. Our next reader is Hetty.
I had lost the window. Me too. I was going to read a different poem, so I switched to a much shorter one. But could I share screen?
Yeah, let me.
It's an ekphrastic poem from my
Wait a
latest
minute.
collection.
I have to make you a co-host.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. I'll leave the poem. I mean, I leave the painting. It's from my ekphrastic collection, or Did You Ever See the Other Side? And this is a painting by Kay Sage called Festa from her collection. What did I do now? I have to remove the focus, or else I can't find the poem.
It looks fine. Oh.
Can you see it well now or not?
Yes.
I see it just fine.
Okay. So, yeah, I was looking. Is it still on? Is it still okay? Okay. Well, I'm glad I chose a short poem. It inspired me a poem called, Or What Did You Think Would Happen After You Were Gone? There are times when even the sky feels like a ceiling preventing flights from the mind. There are times when drapes attempt to escape the window frame only to be pinned by an arrow aimed at a bird clothed in purple murex. There are times when sleeping on the deck of an abandoned wreck isn't the utmost homelessness. There are times when we need to listen to the language of fabrics and strive to stay away from desolate gray. There are times when objects are taking over a landscape where there is no one left to talk to.
I invite you and the others on the open mic to put your information about your books on the chat. Our next reader is Lindsay. Thank you, Hetty.
Thank you.
I haven't seen that one before.
I want to thank Hayden and Scott for beautiful readings and for everyone I've heard so far. Good stuff. It makes me excited. I'm going to read a downer. It's called Walking Back from Waste. And I guess I'll preface it by saying I've been working very hard on forgiving people. That's just been something that's been going on with me. Okay. Walking back from waste. I didn't know the man when my father lay dying from leukemia. The hospital worker asked for a priest, and Father Murphy came, offered my dad confession, rosaries, last rites. I sat nearby, twisting a colorful Afghan in nervous hands, praying he would apologize or confess. Frail and anemic, he shook his head no, regret brimming in his pale eyes. My heart fell, heavy as a dumbbell. I recalled his pride in things not me, his blue sailboat, yellow sports car, his love of cursing, steak and beer shared with fellows on our summer porch, men who thought him funny when he quipped insults. My brother was faggot, pussy, and up his mommy's skirts. I was worthless, whore, a brazen brat. For my mother, the humiliating slurs were chronic. Who seeks to destroy a wife and children, all of whom hoped he'd allow us to love him? I'm tired of holding on. Forgiveness is not transactional.
It's an angry poem, and it's good anger. Thank you. Our next reader is Nancy.
Well, hello there. So I had a longer poem, but I'm going to read the short one, just kind of a little fun thing. Stoop sitting and pickin'. Sometimes I just need to be fed some trailer park blues. I'm all over spandex, faux leopard, and bangles. Bring on beaters, leathers, and mullets. Your best Dean Dangle with a menthol. You strum, I'll flutter. Drench me with some Sweetwater sound with the 5-string Washburn. Purse and blow a nimbus of smoke to ring tiara my head. The morning's chipped porcelain will be piled with pots. Corn stalks wither, where slashed and stumped. And drought's dust devil is loose in the field. This hour is Budweiser, licorice, musk. Only the taste of a smoking blues banjo man will press and mint these Maybelline reds. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Good to have you on. Gary, it's your turn.
Okay. This poem is also an ekphrastic poem, but I can't share it because it was in Lynn's Work Extended, which was on a CD that got purged when we moved to California. Anyway, it's a photo of a woman in a village staring out of a window in a stone house, and apparently the woman sat there day after day after day, all day, waving to people. A woman in the window. An old woman sat each day in the window, watched the world and waved, watched and followed the paths of memory and chance. Can anyone say what she saw in the shadows, the shifting of light, what names she gave the faces, or if she hoped to meet them when her window stood empty?
Sorry, I'm just typing something in the chat here, and I'll be finished in a second. There we go. I got to put the link. I'm inviting everyone to the reading on Saturday morning. All right, our next reader is Dick.
Hey all. I too, well, we could all wax eloquent about the wonderful readings. I'm going to read a poem. It is an ekphrastic also, but you don't have to know the image. But it's of I was at a public reading of mostly non-poets were in the audience, about 100 people listening to us read about a panorama that was taken of Cincinnati in 1848, and it was the first photograph of a U.S. city known, and it was sent all over the world, was featured at the London's World's Fair. It's a magnificent image, and I'll put a link into it if you're interested. In this, we wrote poems responding to it, and this one was responding to some boats that were lined up along the riverfront. And two things you need to know. One is that steamboats in those days were lucky if they lived 5 years before their boilers blew up or before they rotted through. So you think about all these tall stack celebrations. Not at all. These boats were kindling wood very shortly. And the second is a packet and a car are two types of side wheelers, and think of them as FedEx trucks. Delivery, they were daily delivery. And finally, that there were months out of the year where the Ohio River was only 3 feet deep and boats couldn't go. They just had to sit there until the river came up. Self-portrait as the packet of Brooklyn. I was built for speed, a side-wheeled, two-stacked rig on the clock, boilers hot, wharf rats ready, all hands praying for the river to rise. No captain's command can make rain, no rich man's fare, no pork and barrels, no lower deck passengers in rags, no packet of mail or bale of ready-made clothes would win over sandbars and low water and skies so dry even the blue complains. I've run this river upstream and down from Pittsburgh to here in so many seasons. I should know about change. Sometimes the current's been so strong I burned up 2 days' wood just to stay in place. Sometimes a log bobs up and water's so muddy and snags my hull like a stick rips an old man's skin. I heard the captain bargain with the lumberman. If this dry lasts much longer, they'll gut me for parts, sell my iron heart for grinding grist. One more year, waking nights with my boiler slagged, my piston sagged, my hog chain rusted, seems 1 year too long. But I see over my stern the pretty little car of commerce eyeing me over her bow. Come with me, she says. We'll run down river to New Orleans when the river rises. At night we'll sleep tied together along the banks under a blanket of moon and flocked stars. This is the way it was meant to be until the steam whistle sounds and ends the dream.
Love that. Thank you so much, Dick. Jackie, you're next.
Okay, I've also decided to read a ekphrastic poem about the famous painting called The Stream. And this poem is called Schizoaffective. The screams are stuck inside of me, so no sound is coming out. I cover my ears to silence the voices, my palms squeezing my cheeks, my lids stretched so wide my eyeballs are falling out, and I have pulled off my hair. I am bald, bald as the nakedness of my fears, my mouth forming into the oval of shrieks landing on deaf gods. The sunset is fiery and fierce, my friends having abandoned me without leaving so much as a silhouette. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Our next reader is Mary.
Thanks. This has really been a fun night. Everybody's been so good. Okay, this is called Flummoxed. Flummoxed by this world full of stuff, things solid and obtuse, hiding their agendas beneath the shine of surfaces, polished like old furniture, suffering under a daily wax. They could be planning anything, a coup beneath all our noses, and all we smell is lemon pledge and roses. Hold on to small ceremonies while they last. As soon enough, even the simplest act will be impossible. Outlawed for not being angry enough, not knowing how to separate eggs and save the yolks, how to cook without kitchen fires, and choking smoke, setting off the fire alarms again until you are overwhelmed by rescue and too ashamed to speak. Thank you.
Jessica?
Okay, this it's about my daughter. It's called Art School Accepted Students Day. In my dream, I found her old retainer on the basement floor. Awake, I know why. Because now her teeth are straight, but she worries they are still crooked. She has grown and growing. What do I know about when daffodils should flower? Crocus's resilience doesn't excite me this spring. Their talents wasted, their frigid torment, brief as candle wax, sad as a sculpture constructed of baby teeth. And on my walk along the river, the seal lounges on the dock while locals point their cameras at his flippers, full of sea lamprey, fish that look like eels and have horrifying horned teeth. He applauds himself. My daughter's sketch of a vase brings me to tears. The ellipse at the mouth, the confident charcoal, a vessel that could hold water. How it feels to be a made thing and crying my praise.
Thank you, Jessica. That was terrific. Cindy, would you like to read? Cindy? Are you gone?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Let me find my in my stuff here. Okay. I'm coming along here, sorry. Right. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Yeah, okay. This is how it goes. No, really, I'm fine. Extremely fine. Serenely. As if in a dreamly fine. Seriously. Mysteriously. Near the point of deliriously fine. Extensively. Intensively. Some might say offensively fine. Expansively. Let's danceably. Not stuck with circumstansively. Intentionally, essentially, sometimes exponentially, innately, first-rately, excellingly, compellingly, truly fine, coolly fine, even a little unruly fine, sensibly, defensibly, almost reprehensibly, drastically, ekphrastically, fantastically fine. Okay? I'm fine.
I like what Gary says. Who says we should do away with adverbs in poetry?
That's right. Yes, yes, yes.
I guess wherever there's a rule, there's a way to break it. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So
Thank
I
you.
will round off things and then Tresha will end. And I'm going to read an ekphrastic piece from my book, and you probably can't see it. It's called About to Disappear, and it's an ekphrastic book with images. And I'm putting it there. Oh, great, Daniel. You can see it for a change. That's great. Usually you just see I disappear entirely, or there's just a bit of my hair hanging out. So I'm glad to hear it. So let me share the image. This is a painting by Robert Rhodes called Veils, a Room, a Door, a Light in the Upstairs Hall. And the poem is called Veils. Every evening, shadows lay their veils over the familiar, and the movie starts. I pass my hand through the projector's dusty beam, watch it weave a stream of motes into another world. I hardly need to leave my room to see the moon, perfectly composed behind a screen of branches, transmute the purple half-light from an open window, playing for hours on the bedroom wall. Thank you. And our last reader will be Tresha.
Hello, everyone. And it's just been such an amazing reading. I am so glad we record these because I'm going to want to listen again to everyone's reading. Um, all right. Lately I've been doing an experimental thing where I take some poems that are shorter and I just post them directly to social media, bypass the gatekeepers, and I'm going to read one of those poems, but I'm also very ironically going to remind everyone we're now one of the gatekeepers, and us at the Poetry Salon run Odd Pocket Press. And please submit to Odd Pocket Press. Take some of these excellent things that you guys have written and send them in for us uh, to consider for publication. Okay, so this poem is called "To Be Happy in This Century." To be happy in this century, you have to love pushing buttons, to love to flip switches and watch screens flicker on and off, to wait as you upload, download, click like and subscribe, link and unlink to web pages, use spell check. You must sit in the silence. When it says system error, you must become one with the blue screen, its rainbow wheel of stuckness. Isn't it a miracle, the way we've harnessed light into the house? Like Prometheus, we hold fire, afraid to be fired, and tap our fingers on screens, making the stuck sounds of insects hitting their heads against the edge of their little glass jars.
And I have forgotten Gary. So let him be the last voice in this reading and give a teaser for his reading on Saturday morning when he's featuring with George Bilshare. Gary?
Thanks. So the title of my poem is, I was going to read a longer poem, but because there's so little time, I'll read a short one. Haha, no. The title of my poem is Boyle's Gas Law. And for those of you that aren't physicists, Boyle's gas law is, within a closed system, pressure is inversely proportional to the volume. 10 pounds, 2 ounces of pressure. Nolan turns from blue-veined Veneto marble to Portuguese red in seconds, as methane bullies about his month-old small intestine, his knees pulled up like a grasshopper investing in the next hop. The expanding gas shakes hands with famotidine, then dissipates. Wispy sunshine on a December afternoon. Our own tale of two cities. It is the best of times and the worst of times. And thank you, everyone. I've enjoyed everybody's work.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And thank you to our features, to our audience, to everybody on the open mic, and to whoever's watching the video. It'll be posted at some point. Thanks so much.
Robbi, what's the link for Saturday morning?
Well, it's on no, that's my book.
Yeah, I looked and I found it.
It is, I put it on the chat. And let's see if I can find it. And let's see who can find it first, guys.
Okay.
Did you find it?
No.
Oh, drat. Yes, there it is. I'm copying it and I'm going to put it there again. You need to register to attend. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Gary got it too. Thank you. Several people got it. Good. So now you can't say you don't have it.
No, thank you.
It's in triplicate. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. And I hope to see you.
Thank you so much, Robbi.
Thank you, Robbi. Yeah.
Tresha.
Thank you, Robbie.
Thanks for
Thank
hosting,
you.
Robby.
Thank
Really
you,
appreciate it.
Robbie.
Thanks.
Thank
and
you,
it's nice to
Robbi,
be
Tresha.
seen again. All right, bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Robbie.